We are the Gujarat Technological University. Since its inception over a decade ago, GTU has been empowering young and curating minds to realize their true potential. Over 4 lakh inspired students are enrolled with one of the premier academic universities in India. With more than 450 affiliated colleges in its fold operating across 5 zones of the state, GTU, the International Innovative University, your place to move forward.
Hello students, hope you are all at your home. In this video, I am going to discuss a topic that is related with industrial engineering, that is 6th sem mechanical engineering. Here the chapter is about industrial legislation, right? Now we are going to discuss a topic that is Industrial Disputes Act 1947. I have already started the chapter and discussed one more act, that was Factories Act 1948, right? We will be going forward with one more act that is important, that is Industrial Disputes Act 1947. Okay, so let us discuss. Now here, first of all, before going into much detail, I want to discuss that what do you mean by a dispute, right? For example, you and your friend are arguing or discussing some topic, right? And at conclusion, you have some disagreement in your mind, right? So after the conclusion of that discussion, you can say that you are having some kind of dispute because both of you and your friends do not agree on the same point, right? Your friend has other view and you have some other view. So dispute means one kind of disagreement on some point or some discussion, right? That is called as dispute. Likewise, if you talk about industrial dispute, then in industry also, when the workers are working and employers are giving wages to those workers, so there may be some kind of disagreement in some points from worker side as well as from employer side. For example, from employee side or from employer side. So that is called as industrial dispute, right? Basically, this term means any dispute or difference between employers and employees. It may be from employers, between employers and employees, or between employers and workmen, between workmen and workmen. It may be between employee and employee also, right? So that is called as industrial dispute. That is difference or some kind of disagreement on some point, right? Which may not satisfy some terms or some requirement of one or second party, right? If there are some requirements are not fulfilled, then some people may refuse to work or some people may refuse to give money. That is called as industrial dispute, right? Now, to solve these problems or industrial disputes, the government have established one act that is called as Industrial Dispute Act 1947. Now what are the objectives of these acts, right? Those objectives are to provide a suitable machinery for just equitable and peaceful settlement of industrial disputes. Means if some kind of disagreement occurs, then the solution should be provided in terms of a decision that is justifiable from both the parties, right? To promote the measures for securing and preserving amity and good relation between employers and employees. From both the parties, the relation should be good enough so that the work continues and the industry goes on and the production continues, right? Then to prevent illegal strikes and lockouts. Sometimes you may have heard that the workers refuse to work and they go on strikes, right? So at that time the work of the industry stops and it will be dangerous, right? Because it will be damaging the industry itself, right? And it will stop all the work or all the production. Then one more objective is to provide relief to workers against layoff, retrenchment, wrongful dismissal. It will be helping the workers also so that they have their rights, right? They make sure that they do have their rights or the requirements are fulfilled in good manner, right? Then to promote collective bargaining from both of the sides, some kind of compensation or bargaining should be there. Then to improve conditions of the workers where they are working in industry, they should be in good condition. And then last is to avoid unfair labor practices, means if there is something wrong happening to workers, then it may be considered, and this act covers all those aspects, right? That is called as Industrial Dispute Act's objectives, right? See, basically all these acts are theoretical, right? So you need to remember some of the important points, and then you need to write the answer, right? Here there is nothing rocket science, right? Here is just a theory or facts. The acts are already made up or developed. You need to just remember some important points, right? And then you need to write down the answer, right? Now let us see cause or reasons why these industrial disputes happen in the industry. Then one of the cause may be demand for higher wages or allowances. Sometimes worker may demand for higher salary or wages, right? That may be one of the reasons. Then demand for payment of bonus or determination of its rates thereof. Sometimes worker demand for bonus also, and demand for higher social security benefits. If you see other than wages, some security benefits also may be asked by the workers. Then demand for good and safer working condition, including length of a working day, interval, frequency of leisure, and physical work environment. Then one of the demand may be improved labor welfare and other benefits. For example, adequate canteen, rest, recreation, accommodation facility. So these all welfare facilities and should be there in the industry. If they are not there in well condition, then the worker may disagree, and some industrial dispute may occur between worker and the employee, right? So these are some of the cause or reason of the industrial disputes, right? Now there are some important terms or definitions which are related with the Industrial Disputes Act, right? Let us see and these definitions are related with the central or state government, right? They have given those definitions, right? One of the definition is or element is arbitrator. Now basically this arbitrator is referred as an umpire. It means it will be a person who is appointed to determine differences and disputes between two parties. If there are disputes, then there will be one person in between those two parties who will determine some conclusive actions, right? That is called as arbitrator. Then wages. Wages means remuneration capable of being expressed in terms of money if the term of employment were fulfilled, be payable to a workman in respect of his employment or work done in such employment. Basically wages means nothing but salary. The amount of money that is paid to the worker for their work or job is called as wages, right? Then industry, as you all know what is industry, an establishment or infrastructure in which the production is carried out. The raw materials are taken and the finished product is taken out. That is called as a industry. That facility is called as industry, right? Or if you want to give it in more technical term, then it means any systematic activity carried out by cooperation between employer and his workmen, whether such workmen are employed by such employee directly or by or through any agency, including a contractor for the production, supply or distribution of goods or service with a view to satisfy human wants or wishes with a motive to make any gain or profit, not merely spiritual or religious. There is one kind of technical definition of industry, right? Then workmen means employees, right? The person who are working in an industry to get the money by doing their work or by doing their job. That is called as workmen. Then industrial establishment means any establishment or undertaking in which the industry is carried out. The place where the industry is developed is called as industrial establishment. Then settlement. What is the meaning of this settlement? It means a agreement between the employer and workman arrived in the course of conciliation proceeding, provided agreement has been signed by the parties that in the manner prescribed. Copy has been sent to an officer. Basically settlement means any kind of compensation paid to the workers, right? For some required conditions. That is called as settlement. And there will be written agreement between workman and employee, and it will be signed by the workmen also, right? That they are agreeing to those settlement, right? That is called as settlement. Now here let us discuss some authorities that comes under Industrial Disputes Act 1947. Basically these all authorities are a hierarchical manner, from starting to lower level and going to higher level. There are different types of authorities. It is Worksman Committee, Conciliation Officer, Board of Conciliation, Court of Inquiry, Labor Court, Industrial Tribunal, and National Tribunal. These are all going from down to up level, right? Let us see one by one. First is the Work Committee. Basically, it is developed by a government, and it is developed in an establishment in which 100 or more workmen are employed on any day in the preceding 12 months, right? For approximately 1 year, if there are 100 or more workmen, then a work committee is established, right? It consists of representatives of employees and workmen engaged in the establishment. The workers who are working, they are made into works committee, right? And this number of workmen representatives shall not be less than the number of employers representatives, right? So this number should be more than the employers representatives. That is works committee. Now what this works committee do? So this duty is to promote measures for securing and preserving amity and good relation between the employer and workman. Basically what this committee does is it will be trying to make the relation of employees and employers in good conditions, right? It will be trying to reduce the disagreement. That is the duty of the works committee, right? Then another is conciliation officer. Basically these are to the appropriate government by notification in the official gazette appoints a specific number of persons as it think fit to be as conciliation officers. Those are appointed by the government, right? They may be appointed for a specific area or specified industries in specified areas. For some certain number of industries, these conciliation officers are provided and they are given the job for certain number of industry in certain areas, right? Now what these conciliation officers will be doing, when any industrial disputes exist, the conciliation officer should hold conciliation proceedings in a prescribed manner without delay to have right settlement, right? So if the dispute occurs, then this conciliation officer should take necessary actions with no wastage of time, right? That is the duty. Whether the settlement is reached or not, the conciliation officer must submit the report within 14 days of commencement of the proceedings or within the date fixed by the appropriate government, right? Basically his duties are administrative and not judicial. All the administrative works or paperwork should be done by these conciliation officers, right? Then next is Board of Conciliation. Basically the appropriate government by a notification in Gazette constitutes a boards of conciliation for promoting the settlement. To promote the settlement, a group of the Board of Conciliation is developed, right? Basically it will be made of a chairman and 2 or 4 other members, right? They are making this Board of Conciliation, right? And this chairman should be an independent person that should not be connected with a dispute, right? And other members will be persons appointed in equal number to represent the parties to dispute. So if there are 2 parties, then the other members will be 2 from one party and 2 from other party. There is 4, and 1 more person will be independent person, that is chairman, right? That is Board of Conciliation. Now let us discuss about the duty. When a dispute has been referred to a board, it will investigate the dispute, right? And matter affecting the merits and right settlement of the dispute without delay. So after they know that the dispute has occurred, then they will be investigating the case, and they will be trying to find out the most efficient or most suitable solution for that dispute, right? The board must submit the report within 2 months of the date. Here you need to just remember the duration in which the report should be submitted, right? And you need to remember the main duty of each and every element, right? Then next is Court of Inquiry. What is this Court of Inquiry? Is a court of inquiry into any matter relevant to an industrial dispute that is developed by the government, right? It will be consisting of 1 independent person or number of independent persons as the appropriate government may think fit, right? Basically this Court of Inquiry will only include the independent person. There will be no person that is related to industry will be included in the Court of Inquiry, right? They will be independent person. One of them will be a chairman for that particular case, right? Then if we talk about the duty, is the report a court shall inquire into the matters referred to it and report to the government within the period of 6 months. Basically this court will look into the matter and they will be passing the information to appropriate government. See, you need to make an hierarchy for all these. You need to start from the basic level, then if we go to conciliation officer, then board of conciliation, then court inquiry. Likewise, you need to go from lower level to upper level, right? That is the main thing here, that if some dispute occurs, then it will be starting from lowest level, right, and then it will be going up to highest level to government, right? Here the report of the court shall be in writing and signed by all the members of the court. Members are free to record their decision, right? That is the other duty. The report shall be published within the period of 30 days of its receipt by the government. And if you go on another higher level, then it is a labor court. Basically, it is consisting of one person only to be appointed by the government, right? And there are some rules. A person shall not be qualified for appointment as preceding officer or labor court unless he is or has been a judge of a high court, he has been as a district judge, additional district judge for a period not less than 3 years, he has held any judicial office in India for not less than 7 years. So these all criteria should be fulfilled to make a person into a labor court, right? These are the criteria. And what are the duties? That is, adjudicate upon the industrial disputes relating to any matter specified in the second schedule. When an industrial dispute has been referred to a labor court for adjudication in the specified period, it should submit award to the appropriate government. So the labor court will be asking all these cases to more upper level, right? That is the duty of labor court. Then comes the industrial tribunal. That is, the appropriate government constitute one or more industrial tribunals for the adjudication of industrial disputes relating to any matter specified in second or third schedule. So here, from starting from one schedule, they will be going on upper level by second schedule or third schedule. Likewise, the tribunal consists of one person to be appointed by the government. The one person will be at industrial tribunal level, right? That will become in the third schedule of the industrial dispute case. Now here, what are the duties? It shall submit its award to the appropriate government within a specified period of an industrial, if industrial dispute is referred to an industrial tribunal, right? The award shall be in writing and shall be signed by its presiding officer. The award shall be published in 30 days, right? So that is another high level of industrial tribunal. Now if you go more higher level, then it will be a national tribunal. Basically, the central government, it will be go under the central government. By notification in the official gazette or constitute one or more national industrial tribunals for the adjudication of industrial disputes. Basically, it will be involving questions of national importance which are such of nature that industries are more than one state are likely to be interested in or affected by. So if the dispute is about of a higher level, or if it is affecting more number of people or more number of industry from other states also, then it will be about case from national tribunals, right? And if we talk about duties, then when an industrial dispute is referred to the national tribunals for adjudication, it shall submit its award to the appropriate government. The award shall be in writing and shall be signed by officers, and it should be published in the 30 days, right? That is the duties of national tribunal, right? So here, what we are seeing is that from very low level, that is, let me go to the previous slide here. That is, if we are starting from first works committee, then conciliation officer, then there will be boards of conciliation, and there will be a court of inquiry, then labor court, then there will be industrial tribunal, and lastly is if it is having a national importance, it will be national tribunal. So we are from going to lower level to higher level, right, for the different kinds of disputes. Those are included in the industry, right? So you need to start from the zero level, that is works committee, and you need to go to national tribunal. So there is one kind of hierarchy that you need to follow while you are solving an industrial dispute, right? So this was all about the Industrial Disputes Act, the definition and the duties and definition of all the different levels, right? So thank you for listening.